platform. So we'll just go check real quick. Ta-da. Okay. Yeah, I think we're in a good spot here.
We are live.
Yeah, we are live. Yeah, it's on LinkedIn. Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Okay, it says it's starting soon. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So sorry for the little preamble for people just joining. Using a new platform today, so I'm trying out Riverside. Yeah, welcome back to the Pomerium live stream. My name's Nick Taylor. I'm a developer advocate at Pomerium, and today I'm hanging out with Lucas Ewall, who's over at Alma AI and does lots of pretty cool stuff over there that we're going to dig into. Lucas, how are you doing today?
Very good. And you, Nick?
I'm doing really well. Been pretty busy, but like it's good to be busy. I just remember it's not tech, but when I used to work in a restaurant, when the restaurant was super busy, time flew by. When I worked in the kitchen and it was super slow, it was like an eternity. So I think being busy is not a bad thing. So I'll leave it at that. But
that's correct.
Yeah,
I remember my years in the restaurant industry. That's correct. Yes.
Cool. So you're over at Alma.ai, and we're definitely going to talk about that. But you also have a background in academia. So you're currently an assistant professor, and people generally like to know kind of like how people got into tech or kind of what they're up to. So like I said, we'll definitely dig into Alma, but I'm curious if you want to talk a bit about academia and like what brought you to become an assistant professor.
Terrific. Yes. How long do you have? It's a long story, but in short terms, I began coding in 1986. It was
okay.
3 or 4 centuries ago, it seems. That's all the white hair. That's where it comes from.
Okay.
So I always liked explaining things. At an early age, I found myself enjoying that dynamic, right? When you understood something, you have to pass the understanding to somebody else. Perhaps the very first memory of that is when I was 16 years old, my uncle, who brought computers to our rural, poor town in a small province in Argentina.
Okay.
He hired me to teach a couple of people what was back then Lotus 123, which was
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Calc Vista, right? We're dating ourselves here heavily. And I enjoyed it a lot. I liked explaining to people and seeing how all of a sudden you explain these things, pass this understanding, and people started doing their own things. So
Yeah.
long history of enjoying that role. More precisely, when my second company had to be put on the freezer because of COVID, the company was in the restaurant industry.
Oh, okay.
We were all hunkered down and hidden from the virus and so on and so forth. And I discovered that I could use my skills and abilities to help middle and senior managers improve themselves.
Okay.
And we got a job at Cornell University, facilitating their executive education programs.
Oh, nice.
One thing, it was very, very, very interesting for a number of reasons. But years went by, and I discovered a full-time professor position or assistant professor position is also very enticing because you get to develop relationships with students over a semester. While executive education is more fast-paced and everybody is focused on acquiring these skills and these frameworks and move on, right?
Yeah.
Teaching at a college, I'm teaching right now at the a Catholic University of America. I get to interact with sophomores and juniors and seniors, and you see them grow in a very short period of time, couple of years. They come from barely being high schoolers into professionals, and they are ready to get into the labor market and launch their careers. And it's truly a privilege to do it. So that's a bit about my story as an academic.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah, yeah. I was mentioning it before the live stream. My one of my friends has a couple PhDs now and is probably just going to be in academia forever, which is not a bad thing. And yeah, I have I have a cousin who teaches at Stanford.
Mm.
So there's a bunch of academia in my own family, but I'm less interested in academia. I went to university, but I think more on the practical side of things as opposed to like I studied computer science there, and it's
Mm.
I was less interested in like working on like some new algorithm or something. I was just more like, I guess, more of a builder. I guess I don't know. I
Yes.
mean, not that.
Well, that's a
I,
very good point, because I also thought for a long number of years that I couldn't go into an academia because I don't have a PhD.
mm,
And then I discovered this world of clinical positions or
okay.
professors of practice, which you could do, right? You have experience, years in industry, and that adds a lot of value to a large number of students who are exposed to the research-oriented faculty member that also can talk to the practitioner. So
Okay.
I think that angle is like, in real life, this is how it works. This is the complexity of things. It never works in buckets, right? Like we tend to
Yeah.
get our education. We go to a marketing class, and then we go to an HR class, or we go to a database class. Well, in real life, the UI needs to contain UX
Hmm.
elements and interact with a database and do this. And in real life, it's all very complex, and
Yeah.
we practitioners have a wealth of knowledge and experience to share.
Yeah. No, for sure. And it's like, it's kind of like a kind of like it's not the exact same thing, but like in sports, like for example, like I played a lot of rugby, and you can be taught like this is how you tackle somebody, get low, put your head to the side of their leg, wrap their legs, and like that's a textbook tackle, but like the reality is that's not going to happen all the time because like apparently opponents move. So
Ah, yeah, right. So who knew?
so not exactly the same thing, but some kind of parallel there. But
Yes, yes, I can
yeah,
see that.
yeah. So you've been an assistant professor for a while now, but you're also obviously still working in the AI space as well.
Mhm.
So I honestly don't know much about Alma.ai. So we're gonna talk about the models and stuff, but I guess at a high level, like what is Alma, like the company itself? What do you do over there? Just for folks who might have never heard of it.
Yes, awesome. Thank you for asking. Um, Alma is the first AI marketplace, and
Okay.
I thought deeply about what to build, why to build it. And the why is extremely important to me as a serial entrepreneur. This is the third company I launched, and it must be project number 30 that I'm involved
Okay.
exploring, trying to make work, right?
Yeah.
And so, warning for all entrepreneurs that if the bug gets into you, you never stop being an entrepreneur. So be careful what you're asking, wishing.
Yeah.
Um, the vision of Alma is AI profits for all. That's the vision statement of
Yeah.
Alma. AI profits for all. What do I mean by that? Well, fairly simple, right? I have an iPhone here. I can go on WhatsApp and I can text to my mother, who is in my town in Argentina, and
Hmm.
she reads it and she's super connected and she replies. We can have a video conference. I went to teach in the summer to France, and I was connected while I was in France with her, with my brother. I went to Japan, and yes, there is like 14-hour difference, but you're still connected throughout the
Yeah.
world. And that is what this social media or social networks, digital social networks revolution brought to us. Those are the benefits for us
Yeah.
as users. But only a handful of people profited from those technologies investments.
Yeah.
And what I saw early with Alma is, in between becoming a faculty member, I took time to write a book explaining what the future could bring us. right?
Okay.
And what I thought very early is like there's going to be a lot of people who build a lot of very cool technology out of generative AI. Some of it, most of it will be helpful. I'm an optimist by nature.
Yeah.
Some of it will be negative, as we saw with social media.
Hmm.
But who is going to work on helping people make money out of this, right? Who is going to
Yeah.
think this way? How can we help people who are technically driven and therefore will
Yes.
understand this very sophisticated technology very quickly? Who will help them make money out of this beyond getting a very cool job and a very highly paid job? And who will help most of users out there? So I always
Hmm.
explain these different realities, right? I know people who code very well. They don't know how to sell, but
Yeah.
they build very cool features and very cool softwares and platforms and algorithms. But on the other side, for example, my wife, she's a nonprofit, a director at a nonprofit.
Okay.
And she does financial literacy. She helps middle and low income people overcome their economic realities by empowering themselves. She uses computers and mobiles 24/7. There's nothing
Hmm.
of her work that can be done on paper only, right?
Yeah.
But she's not going to spend hours and hours understanding the difference between GPT-5 and 4.0 mini and Claude 3.7 or Opus 4.1, or what is
Yeah.
RAGing and what type of RAGing and what is MCP. No, right? People are
Hmm.
too busy to dive deep into those very important details and sophistications of technology. Therefore,
Yeah.
if you put them together, if you allow the technical individuals to understand the needs of the non-technical individuals who are most of workers nowadays, there is
Hmm.
a chance to exchange value, right?
Yeah.
So Alma comes in the middle as an intermediate party who can say, listen, creators, we will give you the coolest of technology to build, the coolest of toolkits that you could ever imagine. We're here to build it for you. And on the other
Okay.
side, we're going to help you talk non-technical language to most of the world. I'll help you explain these to non-technical people in a way that they understand the benefits to
Okay.
them, and they can buy this from you, right?
Yeah.
So that's in a sense, the now the mission statement. Also, I also am a big believer in simplicity. The mission statement is to mint 1 million millionaires.
Okay.
So a good marketplace will bring the creators and the buyers, and a very strong marketplace will make a lot of creators make money. So
Yeah.
that's what Alma is trying to do.
Okay. So kind of democratizing the technology so like it's accessible to pretty much anybody. Yeah.
100%. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's definitely you know, there's definitely nothing wrong with making money, and if you can help people, that's great. I mean, the thing too is like the landscape is changing, like I remember, I was talking with an old coworker from Netlify on another live stream, and we were talking about MCPs and just agentic in general, and how like if you think back to like around the dot-com boom, once companies started having websites,
Mm.
you slowly became irrelevant if you didn't have a website. And I think we're going to kind of see that happen again with agentic. Like people might be at some point like, oh, Lucas, I'm in ChatGPT and there's no like MCP or way for me to buy something off your store, and so I think it's not going to be the exact same thing, but it's a pattern that will similar pattern. I think that'll happen where
Yes.
people will be left by the wayside long term if they don't. So it makes sense that you're trying to help the people there. I guess so. Like that's the mission of Alma, and you're creating tools that for people. What what kind of, I don't know if you could maybe speak of some concrete examples, like say for example I'm a shop owner and I don't know, I sell clothes, maybe like obviously there's existing stuff like Amazon and all that, but like if we think about like I'm just like not even necessarily a mom and pop shop, but like I'm in Montreal. I have a clothing brand. I want to start making it accessible for people to buy it through agentic flows, I guess.
Yes.
Um, I guess like how would that look like if I were to approach somebody at Alma like I need help to start selling stuff, like kind of what does that process look like? Like there's some
Mhm.
kind of onboarding, I imagine, and
Mhm. Yes,
yeah.
100%. It's funny because one of the things that I love the most is when you deploy these technologies and you explain them to people, their imagination takes over,
Mm,
and what creators build, it goes way above the use cases I would have thought of. So
yeah.
let me give you a couple of examples, right? One of the creators that came through my entrepreneurship classes uh, thought very carefully about what to build to help people that she cared for a lot. And
Okay.
she came up with this, trying to solve this problem of phishing, in phishing targeting the elderly. And this is a global problem. Don't think that because we live in a modern society with laws and law enforcement that works compared to non-developing countries or developing countries, um,
Hmm.
that we wouldn't have it. My wife tells me this is an issue here in Fairfax County, right near Washington, D.C. This is one of the richest counties in the country, and we still have people falling for phishing scams.
Yeah.
Um, this creator I am mentioning, she's originally from Nigeria. She was studying a master's in law in London, and her grandmother, grandfather, don't remember exactly, fell victim and
Hmm.
stolen of a few $1,000s. But it also happens here in Fairfax County with people ends up sending tens of thousands of dollars of their savings to somebody online, right? And they couldn't believe it was fake and so on and so forth. So this is a global problem. So
Yeah.
this creator understands the power of agents, and she says, well, what if I create an agent that I can show to my grandfather and alike, and so they understand what phishing is and they understand what security measures they should be taking and so on and so forth. She creates it. Agents serve are very easy environments to create minimum viable products, so you don't need to deploy an
Yeah.
entire platform or something. You just conceptualize it very quickly, and you can put
Okay.
it in front of a user. The user plays around with it, and you as an entrepreneur can really learn about their failures, their wins, and you can improve it. So um, very quickly she assembles a minimum version of it, shows it, and all of a sudden she sees the reaction is this panic type of reaction, right? This is so
Okay.
complex. What do I mean I chat with it? What do I mean I chat? This is a machine. I chat with a human. So somebody in their 60s, 70s, or 80s acquired computers later in life, and therefore is having a
Mhm.
big problem. So the creator comes back to our course, our workshop, and tells me the story and says, listen, there is no way I can give an agent to a 70-year-old. There are a number of barriers and frictions. And so
Yeah.
we thought about it carefully, and she realized that she could be helping her peers, similar age, early 20s, learn how to speak to their grandparents, because there is all
Okay.
these different words, right? What is fishing for starters? What do you mean fish, like go into the lake? No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
this is another type of fishing. What is that? So how do you explain this to somebody who never been around computers? And so she repurposed the agent, she pivoted, that's how we call it in entrepreneurship, right? And then now she creates an agent that helps young people talk to the elderly in more clear vocabulary, and helps explain complex things like multi-factor authentication. Right? We all
Yeah.
understand this. Well, if I want to go into a website and ask me for my password, the platform also asks me to corroborate a code on the phone, and only me can have the phone and access to a website. So we understand it, but for somebody who wasn't born around computers, it's
Mhm.
difficult to grasp. So
Yeah.
she found a niche. Young people realize they don't know exactly how to tell grandpa and grandma about these real risks, and she starts offering it to her classmates in England and her friends in Nigeria, and she sold several $100s in a very short period of time.
Oh, that's great.
Access to an agent, right?
Yeah, it's definitely hard to explain these things sometimes, and like even password managers, like my parents are like in their 70s, and like my father still like got post-it notes on his monitor and stuff, and like I've set it up like it's gotten to the point like sometimes my mother loses her password, so I in my password manager I have her password in case she loses it and stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, and it security, especially in like phishing and all that, it's very complex. Like the thing with security is because I worked at McAfee for a while on their password browser extension, and everybody wants security, but they want it to be easy, and those two things are at
Yeah.
odds.
Yeah.
So and like obviously it's gotten better over the years with like face recognition, biometrics, but it's still like even phishing, and phishing, not only explaining phishing to somebody who's never heard of it, that's one thing,
Hmm.
but the other thing is like phishing is very sophisticated these days. Like
Hmm.
sometimes like it looks like a genuine email from Google, or and like I know to look into like the emails to check like it's but like when you're in your email client, these things aren't shown immediately all the time.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think that's super interesting that she found the real problem, which was phishing is a problem still, but the actual problem was like being able to convey and why you need to use these things. So
Correct. Yes.
that's yeah,
And
it's always good
like
picking the
that,
box.
what that shows you is several things. So I'm a strong believer in principles, right? And the principle that it's being highlighted here is one that we call subsidiarity.
Mhm.
So the marketplace allows people closest to the problem to create a solution and monetize it.
Mhm.
And that gives you a lot of advantages. It is not one big, large company that decides what platform to build,
Yeah.
because usually what gets built is what has the biggest total addressable market. Yes, meaning
Yeah.
the largest number of potential clients. And therefore, you have seen a lot of platforms that over the years haven't improved, haven't added more features. They are not getting better over time. Why? Because the features wouldn't necessarily generate more traction, more clients, more revenue. It would be just something nice for a few users. In a
Yeah.
marketplace, uh, nobody that comes needs to create a one tool that will sell to hundreds of millions of individuals at once. You can
Mhm.
create tools that will sell to a few hundred, and because you end up with a portfolio of hopefully hundreds or thousands of tools in aggregate, you become that millionaire that I mentioned in the mission statement. Um,
Yeah.
but it benefits the entire community because hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of users creating things that solve problems for those around them, for their communities, end up creating better communities, right? In
Yeah.
aggregate, we are all taking care of each other. And so that's a strong pillar of what behind Alma, right? I deeply believe that we can use software to improve lives. But again, if we just leave that to a very large enterprise that decides this type of things, well, some things get built, but not
Yeah.
everything that could get built does, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. And I was curious about like the implementation. So I'm just on the AI site. I shared the link in the chat for people catching the stream now or later. So you have AI agents, prompts, assistants, personas, some plugins, and then you have Alma GPT, for, which is this a GPT that you add to like Chat GPT, or is this your own standalone chat? I don't want to say chatbot because that diminishes some things sometimes, but like
Mhm.
uh, agentic experience. Is that what it is?
Yes. So we have a multi LLM environment. You come to Alma
Okay.
GPT, and what you will see is the opportunity to interact with, actually, last time I counted was 47 different models.
Okay.
And we could have even more because there are more providers. I think we have picked, it is 7 or 8 big laboratories or companies that create LLMs. Of course, OpenAI, Anthropic, but Microsoft also created its own. It's called Phi.
Yeah.
Of course, we have Google Geminis. We have several versions of each one of these. So in the case of OpenAI, we have, yes, ChatGPT 5, but all the way back to 3.5.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then we even have a copy of DeepSeek hosted on Azure environment. And there are so many that I forget mentioning them. I
Yeah.
should memorize all this, but it changes tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And we do
Okay.
that because we believe in options. Like, who likes eating the same burger every day? Right? Who likes
Yeah.
being at the expense of the um, burger maker to eat a different burger? If they decide to make a different
Yeah.
burger, we end up eating a different one. So competition is
Yeah.
good for us consumers and users. We have, luckily, in the United States, an environment that allows multiple companies to create LLMs very competitively. And the fact that they are improving these systems almost weekly, monthly, quarterly, means that we all have access to different models. So proposition number
Hmm.
one, it's, hey, why chat with one? Why have to choose among the newest or slightly older one? Why
Yeah.
not chat with any that you want, right? And we were proven right several times about this approach, because when OpenAI released ChatGPT 5, all of a sudden they deprecated everything else and people were
Oh
up in
yeah.
arms, right? And so we said, listen, we're going to give you all the versions that we have available. And if your agent or you chat because you just want to chat with 3.5 or oh 04 or 4 mini, whatever you have a choice. But if you,
Yeah.
for some things, you want to go to Claude, and I really like Claude 3.7, right?
Yeah.
And Opus is very strong, but yes, why not
Yeah.
do that as well, right? If you want to test
Yeah.
Gemini. So that's number one proposition. Number two is, I think everybody should have the ability to create their own agents, what OpenAI calls GPTs. It
Hmm.
shouldn't be just a paid feature. Everybody should be able to experiment, learn, and create their own and sell them when they want. And so we have that opportunity as well there on Alma GPT. You can create the
Okay.
agents, you can share them for free with your friends, you can, your coworkers, team, you can protect the instructions that you put in the agent.
Okay.
And therefore, because there is a lot of work to be done on developing instructions, so if you don't want people to see that, you can protect it. Now, if you want those open, you just
Hmm.
move a toggle and you toggle on what
Okay.
is it, access to instructions, and those who acquire your agent, they will see what you wrote and they will change it.
Okay.
um,
So you're talking more the system prompt there, or
yes, so agents work in an essence. There is this big system prompt that goes at the front of the first conversation, right? It makes
Mhm.
the language model focus as if it were an academic who is an expert
Yeah.
in finance, right? And I use agents with my students that become AI tutors. And so the tutor is personified as an academic with knowledge in introduction to finance. And
Okay.
but then there are rules. The agent, for example, the tutors that we have created, which, by the way, are based on the great work of Ethan Mollick at Wharton at the University of
Okay.
Pennsylvania. So big shout out to Professor Mollick for having created the first version of these AI tutors,
Okay.
and make them available under a magnanimous, I think, if MIT license or similar. So he made them open for everybody. We're huge advocates of open source at Alma. And
Okay. Yeah.
so So we take those agents instructions and we improve them, change them, personalize them, right? And so at Alma, we believe in that. So we created an environment where you can create your agents, and I could go on forever in features. We have
Yeah.
so many features, Nick, that
Yeah. I guess just to pause there. So like you were talking, you obviously support many models. You mentioned Phi. That's a local model. So it's not just frontier models. It's also local and I'm just mentioning that because like obviously there's different costs to different models. You mentioned like Opus, that's a little more expensive, or if you use some of these other models that do a lot of deep research, it can cost more. So I think it's great too that, like for example, perhaps the woman you were speaking of before about the fishing, maybe it's cost prohibitive to say like I want to use Opus, but like maybe they could grab Phi or maybe Gemma or something instead.
Mhm.
um and I'm curious how you're managing all that. Like, are you using something like Open Router to like help them decide on the models they want, or
Mhm.
is it not even as complex as that? Is it really just a drop down saying I want this, this, this,
Yeah.
or
So
okay,
yes, great question, because it comes down to accessibility and affordability, right?
hmm
And this is a tremendous opportunity for us who believe that we have to disseminate access to these tools so everybody can benefit.
yeah,
And as we know, right, $20 in the United States shouldn't be a lot of money for most of us.
hmm
200 perhaps is a little bit. I'm talking about the price of OpenAI's Plus and Pro licenses, but
yeah,
$20 in my native Argentina, in my province, is a ton of money.
okay,
Um, where the student, my creator comes from in Nigeria, that's a lot of money. Um,
hmm
and so we are working towards a place where we could have purchase parity pricing. And
okay,
very simply, right? If $20 is equivalent to what, three Big Macs in the US,
yeah,
why don't we charge three Big Macs in Argentina? Whatever the cost is, whatever the translation to US dollars it is,
hmm
whatever three Big Macs cost in Argentina, that's what we will charge.
okay,
And whatever three Big Macs cost in Thailand, that's what we will charge. We're moving towards that world. Um, at the moment, what we have done, which is a simpler first step, is make it a lower price. So our licenses, first of all, they're very generous for the free users.
okay,
Uh, Second, they cost 15 and 150. And here we don't differentiate between general purpose models and thinking models.
okay,
So yes, somebody could wear the grid hat and tell me you could, gate it even further and say no, just do general purpose and therefore cheaper tokens and so on and so forth. But what that happens is that you prevent the creativity of somebody who doesn't have money from being fully developed. So that goes counter our mission of helping everybody benefit from this. So we just keep it very
yeah,
simple. Listen, you want to use it for free? We have some limits, okay? Because definitely we're using Alma's capital to pay for your tokens.
yeah,
Um, Two things that are super powerful. You want to use more and you have limited budget, $15. Every model, every feature, it's there for you. You want
okay,
no limits whatsoever, 150, which is 25% less than when the big guys are charging. Number one.
hmm
Number two, we came up with this other how do I call it? There are moments when you're using these tools and you're against a deadline, or you caught a moment of inspiration, a streak of inspiration, and you can't stop. And all of a sudden you're working. And my colleagues have told me this, right? And people have related this story to me. You're working, and all of a sudden it's 11:15 p.m. and you have a deadline. You want to go to sleep at midnight, and a limit hits you. Say, no, you passed the number of messages per day today. You have to
hmm
wait 24 hours to start again. That's a kick in the face, right? We don't want to do that to people. So what we have done is we'll charge a very small amount of money to uplift the limit for 24 hours.
Okay.
So we don't force you in getting into a monthly contract with us, or pretending you do and then you cancel next time, right? No,
Yeah.
let's keep it very honest. You pay. I think we came up with $3, $5, $7 to uplift it for 24 hours in 1 week, something like that. So you don't need to
Okay.
stop working. You keep on working, you deliver on time, you go to sleep at a reasonable time. Midnight is
Yeah.
already not reasonable, but that's the life of an entrepreneur, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're trying to make it as affordable, as accessible, and also sustainable for Alma, right?
Yeah.
As possible. And we came up with those ideas: simple plans, some limitations, but not regarding productivity. And then these small devices. You need access for 24 hours. Okay, just a few dollars and you can keep going. And we don't make you commit to plans that are too expensive and so on and so forth. Right?
Okay. Yeah, no, yeah, it's definitely like noble to be charitable and stuff, but at the end of the day, you are a company still too. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's like uh it's good to be Robin Hood, but the cash might run out at some point. So yeah, that I get. I don't we definitely don't have to do this, but I was wondering, would you want me to go through like the onboarding flow of Alma to show people, or we don't have to? It's just throwing that
Sure,
out there as
sure,
an idea.
please. Yes, let's
Okay.
share.
Okay. So I'll just
So let's share
move it.
the link to get on board. Um,
Okay. All right. I'll
how
just
do
go
I
ahead and
share
share my
here
screen.
in the chat?
There should be, you should have access to the chat. If not, you can send it to me. There should be a private chat here, I believe, too. But um, if not, for some reason, you can drop it to me on LinkedIn, and I can, and I can just grab it from there. But
Okay.
I'll just go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, there we go. Okay, and I'll just go to LinkedIn real quick just to grab the link from you. And while that's going on, I'll just load this up. Okay. Or I guess, can I just go to the try call to action up at the top right? Or
You can, yes, try Alma GPT for free,
okay.
top right.
All right. All right. So let's do that.
Here we say sign up.
Okay, I'll just zoom this in a bit.
Perfect.
Okay. All right.
Your
No
typical,
secrets here. Okay, sure.
don't show your password, please. It's a
Yeah,
bit
no, I won't.
confusing, right?
Yeah. Here, I'll take this off screen for 1 second.
Hmm.
I do use a password manager, but sometimes it also
You don't
just
need to show
shows.
anybody. Yes, that's terrific.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's autofill. Okay. Save. Continue. Okay. There we go.
You'll have to certify. Yeah, you have to verify your email.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me go do that offline. These are all good practices in general, just not signing up for no reason.
Hmm.
Okay. So let me go ahead and just validate that in my email. Okay. Where is it? All mail. Okay.
The
Didn't
spam
receive it yet.
folder usually.
Okay, yeah. That's I've had that issue with my newsletter sometimes. Okay, here we go. Why is it not showing up yet? I got something from PyTorch. Uh,
No,
I'll
doesn't.
I'll try login. Yeah, okay. I need to log in with the information provided. All right, we'll give that a second here. I did put the right email. Yes. All right, let's just check spam again.
While you wait for that, maybe allow me to share my screen, perhaps.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, and I'll sort this out while you're doing that. So if you just want to go ahead, there should be the share button, little arrow in a rectangle.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me find all that. Share screen, Alma GPT, share.
Ah, there we go. Okay.
Visible? All right, terrific. So
Yeah.
when you arrive here, you will have a tour. We want you to learn by clicking and touching and doing. And you also have the opportunity to read full guides that we have
Mhm.
prepared. So, and you can activate this tour as many times as possible. So, of course,
Okay.
we've made a tremendous deal of model selection. So, if you come here, you will spend some time reading how many models we have and how to choose from among them. We try to help non-technical individuals, users, to understand what is the difference between all these models. Um, then we show you where the agent builder is. We have libraries of reusable prompts. This is also very a cool feature because we find ourselves doing repetitive work sometimes, and you don't
Mhm.
want to type the exact same thing all the time. I found people copying and pasting from a Google Doc, and why
Okay.
do all that click back and forth? We have a library here where you can save them and reuse them as many times, and you can insert variables
Okay.
in the prompts, so you can change the prompts depending on the variables, right? We have
Okay.
memories; these are very powerful. We have parameters that you can use with the models. Now we get the more sophistication side of using language models. Of course, we have presets that when you tune your model to be more creative and flowery with language, that requires certain presets. And then if you want them to be more strict, that requires other presets, right? Again, this is part of the more sophisticated side of
Yeah.
LLMs, for our creators, especially. All the attached files that you ever attached, bookmarks to your conversations to find your conversations easily and fast. Then this is how your entire account works. So, for
Okay.
example, we're going to explain where to find certain things on your account, all your files, subscriptions, and so on and so forth, right? Each one of these menus has a read more section. So this is your chat history. Then you can search among your chats, and you can even do chat in
Okay.
one session with two language models, right? So, of course, you can come back to this tour as many times as you want, so you don't lose it. If you are in a rush and you want to go test it without the tour, just shut it down, do your testing, and come back later to the tour as many times as possible. Right? We're super
Okay.
focused on making these friendly. So
Okay.
this is what we were talking before, right? 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 different model providers.
Mhm.
You have Meta, Cohere, DeepSeek, Microsoft, of course, the big three, um, Google, Anthropic, and OpenAI, right?
Okay.
Um, you choose,
Yeah.
pick any of these, right, and say, let's do Nano, but no, tomorrow I want to do Phi, and you pick and choose and have your chat, right?
Mhm.
Um, we allow you to go on live via an MCP that has crawling, reading, sitemap, and overall search. So you can do any type of search at any moment. And of
Okay.
course, then you have our agent builder, for which I have a lot of training and I provide a lot of training to people. But here, basically, for example, I have a master networker that helps me think about how to connect with people, how to manage their relationship. This is another use case, for example, right? Um,
Okay.
and you will create your instructions for your agent. You will pick what model you want to run it with. Some agents will be amazing to run with Gemini. Other agents
Okay.
will be amazing to run with ChatGPT 4.1. You get to pick, right?
Okay.
There's a lot of other settings here, but one of the coolest things that we created is you can create the link and you copy this into whomever you send this to after they create an Alma account, they will acquire your agent.
Okay.
If you enable this here, they will also see the instructions. If you don't enable it, this instructions box will be hidden. They won't see it.
Okay. I see. I see. Okay.
So
Yeah.
yes, that's part of it. We could spend. Of course, you can do MCP servers, which I know Pomerium is very prominent with, and in terms of security and authentication, we are working on adding more servers,
Okay.
and this is key, right? This empowers the language models to do so much more. So this is a future of agentic, getting access to the right MCPs all the time.
Yeah.
um,
No, definitely.
we have
Um,
tools. We always tell people, add a calculator to your agents.
okay.
LLMs are not good in math, but the solution is super simple. Just add a calculator. And
Yeah.
so, yes, that's part of it. I don't know if it's 15% of 95% of it, depending on how you count the features, but we have
Okay.
a ton of things here, right?
Okay. No, that's great. Just I ended up doing too many login attempts on my thing, so
Yeah, no.
I blocked myself. So I'll check it out later. But um, yeah. So yeah, you were talking about MCPs as well. So people, I guess the flow is like you want to build something in Alma, so you might start off with some kind of agent experience where it's more like a chat that they can use, or but they could also like, I guess, how does it work? Do you just have to like convert this to an MCP server right now, or is that a separate path when you if you did want to do an MCP server?
So, because of the risks associated with NCPs, right, that anybody could get access to servers that contain data, instructions, further code, there
Hmm.
needs to be some rules, right?
Yeah.
Pomerium knows this very well and is a very strong advocate for clear and transparent, manageable workflows. And so at this point, what we have done to launch this as fast as possible is we have retained control of which MCPs we list on Alma.
Okay.
But I want to build a future where that we create policy-driven trust, and
Oh, okay.
we
That's right up
bring.
our alley.
Yes, 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 yes. So, and we bring A to A, agent to agent authentications
Okay.
in security. So yes, I
Nice.
create my agent. My agent does these 15 things very well. It depends on accessing this database. It does it this way. But at the time that it does it, anybody, another human, another organization, another agent could come and verify that and
Hmm.
get a good, trustable response in which the initiating party can say, I can trust Lucas's agent. It does what it says it does. And I
Yeah.
see all the protocols here. So I will engage, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of us are seeing that as one of the futures where there is an agent to agent, even economic transaction, where if I code an
Yeah.
agent to say, listen, I'll give you the latest and greatest about this subject matter because I found a way to distill it, or I've done this process in a very efficient way, I'll give you the output, I'll charge this much. I
Hmm.
don't need to be collecting and clicking and interacting with another human on the other side and celebrating a partnership. The
Yeah.
agent is there for another agent to come and hire and pay, right?
Yeah.
Um, we see a lot of opportunity in that aspect, but security, right? It's the number one of the biggest issues there. That when we open all the systems, we don't want I don't want Alma to be used for some
Yeah.
nefarious purpose, right? And
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah. No, we're not here to talk about Pomerium, but like that's literally what we do. So it's like, and it's I mean, we could chat another time if you want to about it. But yeah, it's funny because I was at the MCP Dev Summit in, I think it was end of May in San Francisco,
Mhm.
and there was a lot of great talks. I gave a talk after, but it was in the online. There was just they just didn't have room. It was literally like one day, literally talk after talk. It was a great day, but it was a lot. But Ken C. Dodds, who you may or may not know, he's big on MCPs right now, and like, you know, like I remember using a bank card for the first time,
Yeah.
and like that was a weird like my kids or somebody else nowadays younger would probably just not even think about it twice, but back in the day it was like a very weird concept because like I'm showing my age here as well, but like you literally used to go to the bank, take out money, they would literally stamp in a book like a passport of your transactions, and uh, maybe you can get that still, I don't know, but then I remember getting a bank card, and then it was definitely very cool to go to a bank machine and say, put in your pin and then get some money out. Um, that was revolutionary. But then when online banking happened, or like people just purchasing with credit cards, you know, I'm sure initially there was a lot of skepticism, like, how are you going to secure my Visa or MasterCard? And
Yeah.
obviously there's been, there's still issues of fraud and stuff that happen, but I'd say generally they tend to be pretty good about it.
Yes.
But that's like nobody. I think it was Kent that said this, but it's like nobody thinks twice nowadays. Like if you go on, log into your banking site, transfer, I don't know,
Yeah.
$10,000 for like a car payment or something.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of, we're at that point again where it's going to be like, why should I trust Agentic to do my,
Mm.
any kind of transaction, whether it's me sending money or
Mhm.
receiving money. So, and obviously there's a lot that goes into that, the security aspect, like you mentioned and stuff, but it'll probably become a very normal thing where like I don't know, I'm just being nostalgic here, but I still think microwaves are amazing, even though it's like you use them all the time. But I feel like it's gonna be like that kind of thing where it's just nobody even thinks about it because it's
Yeah.
secured properly and stuff. So it's definitely, it's interesting times, and it's just changing the user experience. People are typically used to going to websites, like going to Amazon, Shopify, buy some stuff.
Initiate.
So you know and it's going to be different now with stuff like Alma, where somebody's going to be in some chatbot or some agentic experience, and it's just going to be like, all right, I'm logged in with my banking MCP. I'd like to transfer $20 because I want to buy this thing or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's definitely interesting times. I'm excited for all of it, but like, there's always early adopters and then the people that come later. But I guess, how are you finding it, like from a company standpoint? I don't mean like give me numbers of sales and stuff, but how are you finding like the ecosystem so far?
Um, we're seeing a lot of very interesting reactions when people realize they can have a lot of options in one place. They love it. Everybody
Yeah.
loves options, right? And we also see, it's funny because those who resist the use of AI are typically individuals who haven't tried it.
Hmm.
And then the other part of the never tried it, and but I oppose it side, or I oppose it mainly because I never tried it. The other part of I don't oppose it crowd is, well, I tried it poorly. They don't realize they tried it poorly and it didn't work.
Okay.
I tried it and it didn't work. And then you ask, so how did you try it? Well, I I tell it, tell me everything you know about me. Right?
Okay.
And I'm like, how do you expect the machine to know about you? Oh, all right, right. But that
Yeah.
was the way it was launched. It was launched as intelligence. People understand intelligence as intelligence. And these machines were not very intelligent and are not still super intelligent. Um,
Hmm.
and so the realization that if you explain a little bit how prompting works and you explain it in simple terms, and people start using it for their own uh, in their own daily lives, all of a sudden they become very hardcore users, right?
Yeah.
So that is very important, explaining to people in simple terms, non dramatic, non fantastic terms, right? That this is one day is
Yeah.
going to think and do things for you, and so on and so forth. We may get there in some aspects, we may not get there in some other aspects. I am agnostic as to what is going to happen in that. So I found it very
Yeah.
fascinating that the rejection usually comes from people that have either never tried it, or tried it very poorly. Then what I
Yeah.
see is when you start seeing what people build for themselves, it's just magnificent, right?
Yeah.
Um, when I ask, so the AI tutors that I mentioned earlier, um, there is a way to make the tutor work to your liking. So if you tell the tutor that you're using in my class an entrepreneurship, give me examples with soccer, right? I play soccer, come from Argentina, we call it football. I
Yeah.
love I love football, right? So I play twice a week. And if you'd explain me anything, giving me examples of how Messi would do it or how, Argentina would win a World Cup, I will pay
Yeah.
attention.
For
But if I
sure.
attend a class and I pretend the professor will give me examples about that, and the next person examples about something else they love, and so that's what we call personalization in education, and it's impossible. It's impossible at scale. It's impossible at small scale. If you have
Hmm.
three students, maybe as a professor, you remember the three personal likings, and there is also an aspect here where it has to do with the ability of each student to learn in different ways. Some of us learn
Yeah.
better by doing, others writing, others listening, others seeing. So all that is way too much complicated for one professor, but not for AI. So
Yeah.
I allow my students to use the tutor and change the instructions and say, every time you explain things, explain them to me in terms of input your hobby, your passion, anything
Hmm.
that it's important to you that you like learning more. And all of a sudden, the students are learning about dry concepts in finance with examples they can relate to.
Yeah. I'd
Um,
never thought of that, of using like, give me, like I played rugby, explain, I don't know, finance in the context of rugby. I definitely have catered things to learning. So like, for example, like at Pomerium, uh, I'm not a platform engineer. I never have been. I mean, I've been full stack and like I'm obviously aware of a lot of things, but there was a lot of new things and I'm still learning. And so like when I was learning the product, I was like, um, you know, I said literally what I was. I'm a seasoned web developer for 20 plus years, but I'm new to a lot of the stuff in platform engineering or SRE. And so I said, whenever I ask something, explain it in detail. And like, the prompts, like it, this gets to like communication in general, but like,
yeah,
the better you can convey what you're trying to ask, the better an answer you should get,
yeah.
ideally. So
That's another
I
very
love that.
important finding, Nick, is that what I found is usually people thought, well, this is going to help a lot of developers develop faster, do coding faster. This is a tool for
Mhm.
engineers. Then we went through all that phase of now it's going to replace software engineers. Um,
Yeah.
and it's actually what's happening is that software engineers are able to develop more things faster, not to stop working and being unemployed. What I'm
Yeah.
seeing on the other side is entrepreneurs launching products faster, prototyping faster,
Yeah.
and so that as an entrepreneur, it helps you be a better entrepreneur faster, right? Cheaper, faster
Yeah.
iterations. What we are also seeing is that those who get the most value and most and better accuracy in responses are linguists. Linguists who've
Mhm.
studied how language works,
Yeah.
and therefore English majors who know how to convey sophisticated information in written, right? Is that
Yeah.
we never thought about these things, and that is usually why when I hear all this doom and gloom, I was like, wait a minute, it's just being a couple of years into this. Same
Yeah.
as when I hear all these utopical promises that everything will be solved with this. So wait a minute, I've seen a few cycles of technology revolutions, and the
Yeah.
truth is way more complex, right? And you learn things first quarter, first year, first decade, and they are all different things.
Yeah.
But a
Oh, for
fascinating
sure.
time for sure. Fascinating times for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, my good friend of mine, Becca, I worked with her at my previous job, and she works for an AI company now. And focusing a lot on the developer experience and like the technical documentation. And she is an English major. She was a teacher, or either teacher or assistant teacher. I can't remember, but regardless, she's very good at communicating,
Yeah.
and so like I would bet that between me and her, if we were trying to get to the same goal, she would probably write a better prompt. I mean, I think I'm pretty decent at it now, but like it's just it gets back to that communication and like explaining in detail. And this is a side note, but like I've spoken to a lot of career changers into tech, and the ones
Mhm.
that have typically been teachers, they're at an advantage because i- code is definitely important, obviously, because you need to ship something. But
Mm.
at the end of the day, like typically when you get more senior in a role, you have to be able to. It's not just like, yeah, I wrote all the code, here you go. It's like you have to be able to talk to multiple stakeholders, explain
Yes.
what was done,
Yes.
like so anyways, that's a little tangent there,
100%.
but yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
see a lot of opportunities in those areas, right? I kept on thinking on what you said before and what I am able to observe. I see a lot of opportunities in space of helping people prompt better,
Hmm.
helping people understand the nature of these algorithms in such a way that they can maximize their interactions. So in our roadmap, we have this big item, right, where we actually take a novice user. As soon as you log
Hmm.
in, you will go through just four major questions that we want to ask to understand where you are in your journey towards
Yeah.
acquiring AI. And we want to use those questions to send you better information to help you, learn as fast as possible.
Yeah.
We truly believe, right? Because we truly believe in the fact that everybody can benefit from this, we want to speed that growth as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And the other thing is this trust. It's extremely important that at a time that people understand how to prompt, how to vet for hallucinations, which is a machine to human interaction, then we
Yeah.
get into places where we can deploy this in an enterprise. And within the enterprise, people can trust what Nick in the marketing department has built for me in the accounting, because Nick gets this technology and has helped me. And we spoke during a break, and Nick promised to help me create a small agent that helps me do this in accounting, and that thing within the firewall of a company. The trust is inherited from human to human, right? If Nick built
Yeah.
it, it should be safe. But what happens when unwittingly somebody accesses an MCP and they didn't know it has some malicious
Yeah.
content to it, right? And this is inside of the enterprise. And of course, the
Yeah.
dream would be to have um, a multi global market of agents, and therefore
Yeah.
you are within your enterprise. And again, we are doing this as humans today. You go and hire a contractor for a limited number of weeks. You have protocols. Your HR department will have protocols to bring a contractor. But you go on a platform when you can pick this, you can find and you can select these contractors. The platform also
Yeah.
has its protocols to vet the contractors. So
Yeah.
I think there's tremendous promise in creating those protocols in a way that machines can interact with them very quickly. And therefore, we can get
Yeah.
faster to solving things, right? Building things. Um,
Yeah, no, definitely. It's still early days, but it's honestly super exciting times. I'm enjoying working in the space, even though we're not an AI company specifically. It's just I've just the way things have gone this year. I'm getting to work with all this stuff, so it's pretty nice. But
Terrific.
cool. Um, we're pretty much at time here, Lucas. I just wanted to say thanks so much for taking time today to hang out. I know you have a lot on the go, so it's always appreciated to guests when they take some time out of their day.
No worries.
I've dropped links for if folks want to give you a follow on LinkedIn. There's also a link
Please.
to Alma. check it out. There's, like Lucas said, you can create Alma GPT, try it out, and there's pretty generous free tiers, as they mentioned. Yeah, no, it's been a great conversation. I honestly didn't know what to expect from the conversation because I didn't know
Uh-huh.
too much about Alma. So, but I really enjoyed the conversation.
Awesome.
Um,
Terrific.
cool.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Nick. Thank you for opening your audience
Yeah.
to Alma and allowing me to show it. It's been a dream. As you know, we all entrepreneurs are dreamers. We sleep very little. And I've been to 20 countries showing this. I taught to students from more than 120 or 110, something like that. I would go everywhere. So I'm super thankful for anybody who allows me to tell the story, explain the vision and the mission, and advance it. So thank you so much.
Oh yeah, no, you're welcome. And for everybody else, we will be back on the live stream. I'm traveling a little bit over the next month in a bit, but we will definitely have either some of the Primarium team hanging out again to talk about some of the stuff we've been working on, but also some awesome guests coming up. And yeah, thanks everybody. And Lucas, if you don't mind, just staying on for 1 second, and everybody else, we'll see you in the next one.
AI Profits for